On SAPP coding, and this is part of our Java course. And today we will be learning simple graphics on Java. So, what is the Java graphics class? It is basically the base class for all graphic content. This includes the component objects, clips, colors, fonts, size, all that fun stuff. And this will include another console displayed to pop up so the graphic can be displayed on it. So there are two types of graphic things, and it's called a JPanel and JFrame. So some differences in those are that a JFrame represents like a frame, like an entire window, while a JPanel represents an area of the JFrame. So it's more specific. Like JPanels would be some pictures, buttons, tables, text, even images, and all that stuff, which would be in a JFrame. And a JPanel acts as a container which hosts components. So it's like it gets components from other classes, while JFrame works alone and only in that class. And the parent class for JPanel is JComponent, and JFrame parent class is java.awt.frame. And basically the JComponent class is the base class for all Swing components, and Swing is a type of Java used for graphics. Well, one type of Java. There are actually more types of graphic classes. So there are actually a lot of methods for Java graphics because there's a lot of things you can do and customize, but there's some main ones, and one of them includes create. This means it creates the graphic object that's a copy of it, so it copies a graphic object. And then there's a draw method, and then you draw and your shape, so whatever shape you chose. So pretend I chose oval, it's a draw oval, and then the parameters would be like height, width, etc. And the draw method basically draws the outline of the shapes based on the parameters you passed. The fill is also the same thing, but it fills the outline of the shape based on the parameters you passed. So an example of a method could be fill oval, and yeah. And then dispose method is another method that deletes all graphic content on the console and restarts it without actually making you delete all your code. Like if you want new levels, it disposes the old content and adds the new content, so the old content is not there yet. That's where the dispose method comes helpful. And then finally, how to do graphics on Java. So first you have to import all the necessary Java classes. So some Java classes that I usually import are Canvas, Graphics, and JFrame. JFrame is for the framed window. Graphics are for the basic drawing methods, for all the methods like draw, fill, etc. And Canvas is for the area where the graphics can be displayed in, and that's very helpful, so it can actually be shown on the console. And then in the body you add the necessary features. Necessary features are all the methods that are needed in graphics based on the design you're creating. The sizes, sizes, colors, shapes, these are all parameters in those methods. Then you need object instances for JFrame and Canvas so they can be shown and created. And now let's try creating some shapes and displaying it on a canvas or console in a Java IDE. Now we're gonna have our demo on how to do graphics in an Eclipse IDE. So first off, line 1 is just our package. This can be any package you want. For me, it's my tutorials because these are my tutorials. And to start off, you have to import 3 different things. You have to import the graphics class, the JComponent class, and also the JFrame class. Just if you're wondering, what is Swing? Swing is basically the thing that allows you to extend your output to something outside of your own Java application console. So it allows to talk to different types of frameworks, which allows it to print there. And that's exactly what we need for graphics, because graphics are very hard to use in our own Java application console. To start off, we are defining a class, and this class will be called MyDrawing. And this will extend the JComponent class, which is the parent class, and that's the class we were importing. This is an inheritance, and if you didn't know what an inheritance is, go check out episode 12, and that's where we taught you inheritances. So this class is extending to the parent class of JComponent, and in this we're creating a method called paint, and in this paint method we are putting a parameter of graphics, and the variable is called graphics, and we before that we are also writing graphics because that's the class that we were importing, and that's what's needed to draw objects and stuff. And in this class, we are defining two different things. First, we're defining the graphics that draw rectangle. This allows the variable to store the draw rectangle function and give it parameters to display. Same with draw oval. So ultimately, we're trying to create like a very, very basic door just with like a rectangle and a circle in it. Since there is no draw circle function, we are using draw oval. Draw oval is actually very similar to a circle, as you can adjust it to any parameters you want. So, these four numbers. You guys might be wondering what these four numbers are. So, the 10 and the 10, they're four different parameters. The order it goes, the first 10 is x, second 10 is y, the third, which is 200, is the width, and the fourth is usually the height, and that's also 200. So basically, in these parameters, we are defining the x and y position and the width and height of the rectangle and the oval. So after we do that, after we're done this method, we have to start our public static void main, and this is another method that's Java standard defined. And in this method, you will actually make sure it prints and gets it visible. So in this line, JFrame panel equals new JFrame, you're creating an instance of it so you can create a panel that would equal JFrame. So this panel will set the default close operation, and this exit on close means the JFrame will go away after you exit or click the exit button on your framework after it prints out. And these are the set bounds. So there's a window, and in that window you want the window to be these certain sizes, and that would be the x and y and the width and height. In this case, I just chose 30, 30, 100, 100. You can adjust this to how much ever long your drawing is or wide your drawing is, but mine doesn't need to be bigger than this because it's like a very simple door and it doesn't need that much space. And now you're adding it to my drawing, and this is the my drawing class here. So you're basically getting the content and adding the content so it can be visible, and the content is in the class my drawing, which is up here. And in this class we are defining the draw rectangle, draw oval, and we are adding that to the get content panel right here in line 20. And finally, you're setting the content to be true. This sometimes can be false, and that would cause nothing to display, which obviously is not what you guys are trying for. So this is a boolean, so you have to make it true in order for it to actually display. So now let's see let's see how it runs. So this is the product of the code that we just executed, and as you can see, this wasn't actually supposed to be a draw oval, but I adjusted it to be a circle perfectly. And this is looks mostly like a square, but that's because I put the same width and height, so I kind of made it like a square. So this is like a very, very basic door, and I could actually change it a bit. So let's try changing it. And also, as you can see, the set bounds, I could have made these much smaller because there's a lot of excess space that we don't need, which the door doesn't cover. So now, if we want to adjust it, it's very simple. So if you remember, the draw rectangle has x, y, width, and height. So what we're trying to change to make this a rectangle and more like a door, we need to change the height. So right now this is 200. So let's make it like 400 and let's see the difference. We have to save it. Alright, as you can see, now this actually looks more like a door. And the doorknob's up here. We can also do the same thing and move the Y position of this more down. So let's try that too. So we gotta go draw oval, and let's try making this like 40. Okay, as you can see, this makes it go more up. So now we know the difference, what makes it go more up on the shape and more down. So we have to increase this number. So let's make it like 175. Save it. Okay, now it's more down. This more looks like a door than what we had before. And that's basically a very simple version of how you can use graphics. You can use graphics in a lot of situations, and they're actually very helpful if you're trying to develop something. And I hope you learned how to do it. So thank you, and please like and subscribe for more videos.